Hi, my name is Julianne, and today I'm doing my January and February wrap-up. Today I'm going to be talking about the books, movies, and TV shows that I read and watched respectively. So the first thing I'm going to talk about today is the books that I read. The first book that I wanted to talk about was called A Dog's Way Home by W. Bruce Cameron. It got turned into a movie. I haven't watched the movie yet, but I read the book and it was really good. I would rate it on my rating scale of 3, and I know I've talked about my rating scale a little bit, but my rating scale goes from the number 0 to 5 rather than 1 to 5. When it comes to me, if I give it a rating of 2 or higher, that means I recommend the book, basically. Like, I think it's good, so bear that in mind. I would rate this as a 3, and it follows this dog named Bella, which is funny because I have a dog named Bella. Bella is a rescue, and she ends up getting separated from her owner and has to find her way home because she's a dog. It's in the title. I cried a bunch of times, to be honest. I love dogs. It got emotional. I felt feelings, and so I would recommend this book, especially if you love dogs or even if you love cats. You know, if you're an animal lover, I think this is a book for animal lovers. It's actually, the language itself is simplistic enough that I think children can read it, and I don't think the simplistic language deters from the story. I think it just makes sense to make it, you know, more simplistic because it's a dog telling the story, and so the language would be different than if an adult is telling the story. I would recommend this book. I think it was really good. The next book I want to talk about is The Rain God. I read this for my US Latina/Latino literature class. It kind of just follows this, I believe, yeah, they're Mexican-American immigrants, and it just kind of follows this family of sinners, I quote, and I think I'm actually going to be writing my essay on this book. I rated this as a 2. I actually liked it, but at the same time, I wasn't, like, completely enthralled, if that makes sense. Like, A Dog Ways Home, like, really got to me, but this one, I don't know, it didn't really get to me as much as that one. Like, it's still a good story and everything, and, like, the language itself, like, you can unpack the story so much. That's why I want to write the essay on it, because there's so much to unpack, but it just didn't enthrall me as much as I would have wanted. Not a bad book by any means. It's just, you know, it wasn't what I wanted to read at the moment, I guess. But I did enjoy it, so I mean, I would recommend it. The next book that I really want to talk about is The Lady's Guide to Petticoats and Piracy. Oh my god, this book was amazing. It was a 500%. Like, oh my god. Oh my god. I took so many notes. Oh my god. I love this book. It does follow Felicity, and her story is very interesting. And I don't want to spoil too much. I'm not going to even really explain much about it. It's just kind of like, you know, her story. That it takes place after Gentleman's Guide. I heard this book was a contemporary. I heard this book was supposed to be a companion novel, but it's actually a sequel. So I don't know what I was looking at when it said it was a companion, because it's 100% a sequel. I don't want to spoil too much, but I do want to say one aspect about the book that I really enjoyed was, there's a lot of, like, stories out there where it's about the main girl and she's like, oh, I'm just not like the other girls, I'm so unique and blah, blah. You know what I mean? Like, if you read enough, you know what I'm talking about. The thing that I really appreciated about this book is that Felicity, she doesn't say it exactly. I would have to find the quote, but I have way too many notes right now. But she says, I'm not like the other girls, basically. That was what she told another character, is like, oh, I'm not like them. You know, I don't want to wear dresses. But what I really enjoyed is that there's another character that kind of calls out that mentality and is like, just because you're smart and you're into science and you don't like dresses doesn't make you more unique, and it doesn't make you the only girl who's into science. Like, you can wear dresses and still like science. You can be like, wow, this dress is pretty and I want to look pretty in a dress, and still like science, and still be smart and capable and independent. It's looking at different ways of being feminine and it's different ways of being a woman, even in this time period. And so I really liked how it kind of challenged that, oh, I'm not like the other girls mentality, because it was really cool to see that, because you don't really see that much. Also, this book is hilarious. It's a really good read, and it's historical fiction. I should have mentioned that, but whatever, whatever. It's a good book. And Highly recommend it. Again, it's a 5. You need to read it. Another book that I read for school is from my fiction workshop class. It's called The Art and Craft of Fiction by Michael Cardos. This book, we didn't actually read the full book, so at some point in the future I do want to like kind of go through the whole thing, but it's just about the craft of writing. And so far I enjoyed what I've read, and I do want to continue and finish reading the rest of it. The last book that I really want to talk about, oh my god, I would rate this book a 4, and it's called The Shadow's Edge by Brent Weeks. It is the sequel to Night Angel to The Way of Shadows. The series is called the Night Angel trilogy. Oh boy, this book, okay, this book is so good. Oh my god, I liked it more than the first book. Logan's POV, I was here for it. Like, just give me Logan the entire book, because his storyline and what he's going through, like, no spoilers, of course, but what he was going through was so batshit insane. I was so here for it. Oh my god, I love this book. It's a fantasy novel, and it's, you know, sort of like the typical, like, you know what to expect in fantasy novels where, well, it depends on the fantasy novel, I guess, but, you know, this is the type of political intrigue. You got the kingdom, spies, assassins, and people trying to kill everybody, you know, that kind of stuff. And it's no coincidence, but it does remind me a little bit of Game of Thrones, or The Song of Ice and Fire. But it does remind me of that, and there's no mistaking that, because Brent Weeks in his bio like mentions how he likes Game of Thrones, that he likes George R. R. Martin. So it's like, you can see the influence. Of course, it's not like a copycat at all. Like, no. You can see the influence of it, and that's why I'm even comparing it to it, is because it's there. Anyways, it follows this. Well, it's like a huge ensemble cast. Like, I can't keep people straight in this book. I did remember like the main characters, or the main character, so it was fine. It didn't even deter from the story at all. I didn't care. I was just too focused on Logan because, oh god, that was crazy. I love it. I would just categorize it as political intrigue, and there's this kid ends up becoming a wet boy, which is an assassin. I hate that term, by the way. Maybe in the past, wet boy was an actual term used for assassins, but I don't know if it was, and it just bothers me because it's so weird. Like, just call them assassins, because that's what they are. Like, it just sounds so weird to say a wet boy. And then you have the one girl who's the wet girl, and, like, of course they make a joke out of it, but it's just like, it's just weird. Can we just call them assassins? And actually, I really do want to kind of go into depth about this story, because, and this is going to sound really weird the way I say it, but the actual, like, sexual assault and rape that happens in this book, I think works better than, like, in Game of Thrones. Please don't at me here, but, like, in this story, it's actually part of the story, and it makes sense in context. It's not shock value, in my opinion. At times, it almost feels like it is, but by the end, you realize that all of the raping and all of, like, that, like, horrible stuff that happens actually had a purpose. No spoilers, though, but I will say that people who have been hurt are able to gain their autonomy, and they're able to gain power in the sense of that they're able to fight back. And no, I won't give more away than that. In Game of Thrones, people are just raped for shock value, in my opinion. I don't know, maybe there's a purpose to say that women have no power in your society. I don't know, but in general, it just feels like shock value. And this, even though, because especially by the middle part, you're like, wow, this is way too much. But by the end, it actually makes sense story-wise. Of course, it's horrible, but to read, like, all of it's horrible to read. But in the context of story, it made sense. In the context of story, I do think Brent Weeks handles the raping and the sexual assault in his society better than George R. R. Martin, just in the sense that he actually makes it have a purpose to the story and not be shock value and to be horrible just to be horrible. I'm not condemning Game of Thrones, okay? Like, I know people are gonna be like, you're wearing a Game of Thrones shirt, but yet you're saying you hate it. And I'm not saying I'm hating it. I'm just saying that that aspect of Game of Thrones is not the best, just because it's just shock value, and I don't think any point of story should just shock value. I think everything in your story needs to be there for a purpose, and not to just, you know, gross out or disturb the disturb the audience just to disturb it. It like should have a purpose to it. But that's my 2 cents. You know, there's too much to talk about. This could be a whole separate video on its own, which maybe one day I will make, like in 10 years. Overall, it's really good. Highly recommend it. Go read it. But the first thing I want to talk about is Manifest. It is a story about this plane takes off, hits some turbulence, then when they land, they realize it's been 5 years later, and it's basically lost, but not on an island. And I really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was excellent, in my opinion. Like, it was definitely a really interesting storyline. I'm really intrigued. Hopefully it gets picked up for a second season. I can go into more in detail about it, but I thought it was really, I personally thought it was really good. It was really interesting. Plot twists all around. Loved it. The second show I want to talk about, oh my god, the show is still going on. I just want the season to end, and then I want the show to end. For me, when I start something, I need to finish it. I hate that part of myself because I want to be done with this show, and I'm not. It's called Riverdale. Need I say more? They just start plot lines, and then they drop them. What the heck is going on? I don't know, I just censored myself there. What the fuck is going on? What is with the Gargoyle King? First of all, cut season 2. Why did you need season 2? Then in season 1, you could have added little bits and pieces of like gargoyles and griffins, like just mention it sporadically during first season. So when the second season, without the Black Hood, but if you introduced the Gargoyle King in the second season and made that the plotline, it would have been so much better. Just cut out the whole fucking Black Hood thing because that was unnecessary. You just dragged out something for no reason. They have potential, like, oh god, that cinematography, on point. Cinematography is beautiful. Honestly, it's a gorgeous show. The writing is so bad, and it hurts my soul because I can see the writers, and I'm like, stop ruining your own show. You have potential. Like, the whole Gargoyle King thing, that shit could have been good, and then they fucked up, and I was like, okay, why am I watching this show? Why do I hate myself? But whatever. The third show I want to talk about, though, is so much better. It's called Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. It's like a satire of romantic comedy, basically. It's good. I highly recommend it. It's a musical that, and trust me, okay, I used to like be like, ew, no musicals. I did not want to start this show. The trailers made it seem so bad. But when you watch this show, like, there's so much heart and soul, and the songs are hilarious, and I love it. I think they handle, like, a lot of different, like, serious issues that people go through, and they are able to do it in a humorous way, but in a respectful way. And I think that's a really good thing about the show. And hearing it's about this woman who travels across the country to live in the same city as her ex-boyfriend, you're like, okay, that sounds creepy and stalkerish, and not like it would be a good show. But yet it is completely different than what the premise makes you think it is. Another show that like Riverdale, I don't know why I keep watching it, maybe because I hate myself, but it's called Fuller House. Full House was amazing, okay? Maybe I'm looking at it from a nostalgic lens, but it was really good. Fuller House, again, it's like Riverdale, where you see the potential, you're like, you can be funny, you can make the characters more better, and then the writers screw themselves over, and you're just like, no! Basically, the dialogue and the storyline and the love triangles and that stuff is bad. It's just like, you could have been good. And there's characters where they make them say something stupid, and you're like, why would you make them say something stupid? It's not funny. Like, just make them smarter. Like, there's definitely characters where they act smart, and then the next scene, they're acting like an idiot. And it's like, does not compute. And then, don't even get me on whole Roxy Jackson thing, which is somewhat emotionally abusive, and they're making it seem like Jackson's in the wrong, and I'm like, Roxy's the one who's always saying mean things to him, and not in like, oh, that kind of sort of joking way. She's literally just putting him down, comment after comment after comment after comment, and it's just so tiring, because she's just such, I don't like that relationship. I think she's in the wrong, and they need to break up. They're trying to make it seem like she's redeemable, and like, oh, she's so closed off. And it's like, no, she's just an asshole. Like, drop her. And then the other show that I want to talk about is called Dark Matter. It's great. I haven't caught up yet, but I will catch up at some point, but whatever. Oh, a really cool thing, just random side note, is I met the actor who plays Six in real life when I was at SuperCon, like, last year. Still freaked out. I'm watching the show and I'm like, I saw you in real life. It was really cool. It's on the Sci-Fi Channel, and it's a sci-fi show. Whoa! mind blown. It takes place 600 years in the future. So they're on a spaceship. It basically, corporations rule space, and they're all at war with each other. And it's about this group of people who wake up on a spaceship, and they have no memory of who they are, or how they got there, or anything, or who each other are. And so it's a journey of them figuring out who they are, and also trying not to die from corporations and this war. And I really enjoy it. My favorite character is 5. I used to not like 3, but I love 3. Also, if you're wondering why I'm saying saying numbers instead of names, and this part is gonna sound stupid, but trust me, like once you start watching the show, actually it doesn't even faze me anymore. I'm like, oh yeah, her name's 2. It's because they didn't know their names, and they didn't know what to call themselves. They just went with the order of when they woke up. So the first person to wake up, 1. The second person, 2. So again, that sounded stupid, especially when you first started, but like, it just becomes their names, and it's really not even that big of a deal. I really like it. Maybe the writing's not always on point. Maybe the storyline's not always on point. Sometimes things happen and you're like, why? But overall, it's not like Riverdale. It's not like Fuller House. It's fun. It's entertaining. You love it for what it is. And so I would recommend it. It's fun. I love it. Another show that I wanted to talk about also, that I should talk about because I'm wearing the shirt, I'm watching Game of Thrones. I started season 6. I'm on the first episode. I will catch up before April. Maybe. Possibly. I actually don't have faith in myself. But yeah, I'm watching it. My favorite character is Sam Tarly. I was going to say Tarwell, and I'm like, is that even his name? No, his name is Samuel Tarly. I'm putting the well in the wrong place. Anyways, Sam is my favorite character. He's just so cute and innocent. I am excited for season 6 because stuff happened in season 5, and I'm like, yeah, no, that didn't actually happen. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I won't spoil it, but maybe you know what I'm talking about. I would say Arya used to be my favorite character. Well, actually it was Nymeria because I didn't care about any of the humans. But then I was like, you know what? I actually like Arya. But now I'm like, Samuel is my favorite. So, him and Gilly are so cute. Robin Hood. I love that movie, and it's like one of those moments where it's like, it's so bad it's good, but it's not, like, I wouldn't classify it as a bad movie, but it has that fun feel of like, this is so stupid, I love it. I really liked everything about it, because it's just the weird time periods, like wearing modern clothing, yet it looks like the 1500s, the whole thing opening up like they're in fucking Afghanistan. That was hilarious, I loved it. The fact that, Marion, how she just has her boobs hanging out the whole thing, like, girl, like, we don't need to see her cleavage, like, okay, we get it, there's a male director, like, calm down. The whole, like, making the cardinal be, like, the devil, like, the red light just, he walks into a church and it's completely red, and it's just, like, yeah, we get it, he's the devil, we get it, he's evil, like, there's, like, the whole stuff, okay. See what I'm living with? Okay. Hi, baby! I'm trying to talk. You're in front of my microphone. Just everything about Robin Hood was hilarious. I loved it. I saw it more as a comedy than like an actual serious Robin Hood movie. But seeing Eggsy again was great. I do recommend it for like just because it's a fun movie, and I hope there's a sequel. Please tell me there's a sequel. I need more weird meshing of time periods. I mean, the whole casino scene. What the heck was that? Like what? I love it. And then another movie I wanted to discuss was Downsizing. That I actually did watch in January, so appropriate to the video. Basically, the short version is that these people, there's a technology invented to downsize people, to make people who are normal size into like tiny, like this small, you know, and it actually helps the environment because you're producing less waste. I like the movie. I like the whole, like just there's so much about the movie, and I do want to kind of rewatch it. I do want to rewatch it. I do want to make a full review about it because there's certain parts of the movie that were actually like just so good. And the beginning of the movie, and not the beginning, but the beginning of the main character, when we first see the main character. Of course, hold up. Friends. Okay, so my dog is a mess. He's just like trying, you know, knocking lights over, putting microphones on the ground. You stay away. No, don't. Okay, he's coming. Don't come over here, mister. Sorry, this video is a mess because I'm being attacked. So anyways, I really liked, excuse me, I really like Downsizing. It was a good movie. I like the themes and stuff. The main character, everything. Just it's a good movie. Go watch it. I'll make a full review, okay, and explain my reasonings. I just can't with this dog right now. Another thing I watched, which wasn't really a movie per se, it's a documentary. So the documentary is called Fire, the Greatest Party That Never Happens. Yes, that fire. You know, the one that was gonna happen to the Bahamas, and then it was bad. So I watched that documentary. It was interesting. I liked it. Not much else to say. If you're interested in learning about it, watch Fire. If not, then don't. I would recommend watching it if you're into it. Like, it was interesting to watch. And then the movie that I was anticipating, and okay, this was a whole freaking thing. The movie is the sequel to Happy Death Day. So this is Happy Death Day 2. And I loved the first movie. I like the second one too. It's good, in my opinion. Don't at me if you hated it. But I like this. I like the second movie. And it was supposed to come out Valentine's Day, okay? So me and my boyfriend, we were like, let's go see the sequel. I'm not even like lying here. Every single movie in our vicinity, in like a 30-mile radius, did not have this movie playing. So we're like, okay, that's cool. We'll go see it on the Friday because the Friday will, have it. No. Saturday? No. I'm like looking a week ahead. Like, I swear to God, like none of these movies were playing this movie. And coincidentally, Welcome to Night Vale. The live show was in Tampa. It was amazing. My boyfriend was the Minx, and he got to go on stage. But that's a story for another time. That's part of my podcast, Wrapup. But it was really cool. Anyways, I digress. So we went to Tampa. And lo and behold, there is a movie theater that was actually playing the movie. And there was only one time that it was playing during the day, and I was like, we're going to go see that movie. Have to go see that movie. Because none of the movie theaters near us, were actually playing it. So, there you go. We finally got to see it, and we had to drive 4 hours just to see it. But it was worth it. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in my next video. And happy reading and watching. Bye!